Anybody can find fault. It doesn't take a genius to be critical, to be cutting in a comment, but it takes a lot more courage to be decent.
Decent is a good way to describe crime fiction author Louise Penny. And accomplished, too, even prescient.
It gets better and better and better.
Oh, well, that's, and you always hope that you do improve.
Penny has just published her 20th novel, a book of fiction that has more in common with current events than she could have imagined. I met up with her before her appearance at the Chan Center for the Performing Arts in Vancouver, where we spoke about how life seems to be imitating art and her decision to stay away from the United States on her book tour.
Back in March, you said you're not going to the United States because of President Trump's comments, policies, that sort of thing. And a lot of Canadians felt the same way. Mm-hmm. But since then, I've heard some Canadians kind of stepping back, saying, well, maybe I'll go down for a vacation or a shopping trip or whatever. You've remained steadfast. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Why?
Well, it's like situational ethics, isn't it? It's you take a stand until it becomes inconvenient, and then you decide, well, maybe just this once, and then why even bother taking the stand? It's hypocritical. I'm appalled by what's happening, by the trade war, and it is a war. And there are people, as you know, there are people watching right now who are afraid, who are losing their jobs, who are afraid of losing their jobs, the tariffs. I just think that my not going isn't going to change anything, but my going would be acquiescence.
I want to talk about the book, The Black Wolf, but I don't want to spoil anything for people who haven't read it yet. So let me say, Canada-US relations are very much in the forefront of this. The phrase 51st state is in this book. And I saw in the notes that you submitted your manuscript in September of 2024. Yes. Donald Trump was not president. A lot of people didn't think he was going to become president again. And then all of a sudden, he does, and you hear the news and you hear him use that phrase over and over and over again. What did you think?
Part of me thought, have I gone too far? Would people be able to follow me? So as soon as he started saying that, not only, part of me, of course, was, as a human being, appalled and angered by it. As the writer, I sort of thought, well, vindicated. And when I was afraid that I had gone too far, clearly I actually hadn't gone far enough. Mm-hmm. Then I was also worried, and this might be my ego, I was worried that people would think that I'm simply following the headlines. And in fact, that's why I did the author's note at the beginning, to let people know this was written before any of this happened.
There are other things in the book that are plucked from the headlines. Climate change, for example, wildfires, devastating wildfires, disinformation, a lot about disinformation. So very contemporary themes. And also, Louise, really bleak, really depressing. What message are you hoping your readers will get?
I really think, Ian, that I don't think that there is a country that's been invaded, or a peoples who have been rounded up, or individuals who have been targeted, who haven't looked back and said, what did I miss? When was the moment when I could have done something, when I could have said something? So that's what I'm hoping people might get from this, is a bit of a wake-up call between what's written there as fiction, but what's happening in the real world is that now's the time. We need to stand up. We need to take this seriously. We can't just keep laughing at what we see, what frankly I see as a petty tyrant to the south, because anything can happen. Something tragic could be the next step.
Do you want to speak about a more pleasant topic for a while? The Eastern Townships.
Yes.
As somebody who grew up in the Maritimes and lives in British Columbia, I love the fact that your books focus on this beautiful part of the country that I don't know a lot about. I heard that when you started out as an author, somebody or some group of people suggested you not set your books in Canada or in Quebec. So why did you not listen to them?
Thick-headedness. I don't know. Do you know why? To be honest, it was because I had to write what I loved, what I believed in. And so every decision I made was and had to be personal. And that's what I did. So I wrote about a place I love, their love letters to Canada, to the Eastern Townships. And I populated it with people I would choose as friends. And I couldn't set them anywhere else, although that was what I heard back, was that nobody would be interested in a crime novel set in Canada. And I just thought, well, then they're not interested, but I'm not going to change.
One of the charming features of the area that you call home, and it features in the book, and again, I'm not going to spoil anything, is the Haskell Free Library and Opera House. It plays a pivotal role in the book.
Yeah.
It is something many of us have seen in news coverage over the years, this charming library that straddles the border between Quebec and Vermont. It actually exists, and it's in the news again.
The U.S. is now limiting Canadian access to the iconic Haskell Free Library and Opera House.
I know, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it when Kristi Noem went to the Haskell, of all places, they target a village library that sits on the border and that is symbolic of the friendship. And the borderline runs right through it, which is what makes it extraordinary. And it was built as a symbol of this relationship, the long-standing friendship we have between the United States and Canada. And she put her foot on one side of the border and said the United States, and on the other side of the border, 51st state, United States, 51st state. And it's just ludicrous. And then the irony is that it is, as you said in the book, a few of the pivotal scenes happen in the book in the Haskell Opera House. And in fact, we ended the tour with 2 events at the Haskell Opera House for that very reason, so that half of it was with the United States audience, American audience, and half of it was the Canadian audience.
Let's finish with this. In a polarized America, a book like this, with the themes that it has, are you worried at all about how MAGA, for example, is going to respond to your book?
I think to take the stand that I've done and to be as open as I have been, I think it would be ridiculous not to expect a blowback. And there has already been a little bit of it, certainly by people who support Trump. I think there will be one. I'm not worried about a physical attack, but I'm almost uniquely in the position where I can take this stand, because this won't end my career, but if it does, I've already overshot any expectations I've had for myself. So I'll just retire to my little village and I'll keep writing books for myself with my dogs at one side in front of a fireplace and go and see my friends in the cafe. So no, I'm not afraid of them.